with some major upsets taking place. We'll see if that trend continues as Otton, who's way down the back end of the ratings in 36th position, goes up against last year's world champion Adriano de Souza. This is going to be a tough heat for Adriano. He looked pretty sharp in the first round despite not getting the win. And he's going to take a ride early here. Just kicks that tail a little, goes all out on that second section, but he's unsuccessful. And that gives a great opportunity to take the lead early on here. Nice first turn, driving up into the pocket once again. And that is a third decent bash at the lip as he keeps that rhythm going. A little caught up there, no dramas though for Otts, as he strings together his best wave in the contest so far. A tricky first round performance for him, but this wave just keeps presenting. Nice steep sections, and the Aussie, well, he went to town on that one.
Wow, and that's the theme so far this morning. 2 upsets in a row, and if that's any indication, Kai's going to continue that theme right there.
To roll on in on the scoreboard, expecting something pretty healthy for this man who has struggled to find form in 2016.
So there's that rhythm. You know, again, this is just ideal for these surfers on tour when they can kind of find that rhythm where, you know, they're not manufacturing anything. It feels natural. And that's exactly what's happening here. As soon as he gets to the bottom, he's going to go right to the top and give it a nice snap. Slightly hung up on 1 or 2 of them. But again, you know, it was relentless. He threw down, I don't know, maybe 8 maneuvers there. So it's kind of begging for an excellent score.
Otton in 36th position at the moment, one of the veterans on the championship tour, surfing his 9th year. He's had some pretty tough runs at it here at Trestles, just 1 quarterfinal appearance back in 2013. But you think about and his ability to bounce back in recent times, Ross. Last year, a shocking start.
Yeah, he nearly severed his Achilles heel. So, you know, that's a big one. It takes time. You know, it's just one of those things that could put doubt in your head as you're surfing on a wave. So it definitely seemed like it affected him the first few events.
Well, Otton, another low seed, getting off to a good start here. He had an 8 on his first wave and hasn't broken into that excellent range too many times this season. So that's going to give him plenty of confidence moving forward here.
Yeah, that's the perfect word for Adriano de Souza, is reliable. And look at him out there right now. He's kind of, what is he doing? He's doing some mind surfing, just trying to stay loose, maybe visualizing a routine on his next wave.
There was a great feature on Adriano de Souza. You can see it in full at worldsurfleague.com/profiles as we see the world champ up and trying to fight his way back into this heat. It's a medium-sized wave, but has a good pace to it. He just gets a little hung up there. Doesn't like the feel of it. He's going to kick out. 13 minutes and 25 seconds to go. A great heat, this one, because the real quality that both these competitors have. Welcome to this beautiful day here at Trestles, California. Stop 8 on the Samsung Galaxy Championship Tour. The Hurley Pro, and Otton is continuing a trend at the moment that we've seen in the second round of low seeds, given some of the top dogs big headaches.
So right out of the gates, nice carve, nice smooth off the lip, and then there he just dug a little rail. That inside rail caught on that third maneuver, and it'll throw these guys off. They're sensitive. You know, it bleeds into your following maneuver. So if you have a little dig, you know, if you slow down, psychologically, these surfers, they're so good. You know, they don't like it. So you can see he just said, "Oh, that wasn't cool," and he kicked out. The wave did fizzle as well. So I don't think he left a ton of meat on the bone there, but you know, definitely a slow start for ADS.
Just doesn't feel like he's really in it at the moment. That wave just, it was never going to go into the excellent range. Maybe to narrow the requirement, it was going to be a good decision, but just, it was a pretty flat section of water. So Kai's in a great spot out the back with priority, but Adriano's going to get another shot on the inside here. Let's see what he can do with this one. Really wants to chip away at Kai's lead, so he drives up into this first section. Doesn't overcommit, wants to keep that down the line flow. Just drifting that tail ever so slightly. There's the best turn of this ride so far, a nice air reverse. He gets back out onto that green wall and digs into a layback before finishing on the inside. So that's a bit more like it. from Adriano. That'll feel good.
100%. That's going to feel really good. That's the best wave surfed so far in this event here for Adriano de Souza. Personally, for him, you know, he had a pretty much a shocker in the first round. Didn't even get 10 points total. So this is easily his best wave here in this event. And you know, you can see that board's looking very fast. He is flowing down the line. Again, very smooth choices of maneuvers there. And then a great mix-up, chucking that tail towards the channel. So a nice air reverse. And then I like how he kept his speed up in his flow. You know, a lot of times Adriano will stomp on that back foot, sometimes too much, where he slows down a little bit. But that time in those last 2 snaps, Ronnie, he kind of held that speed. It looked nice as he kicked out.
Now, it wasn't the biggest set wave, but Kai had priority at that point, so he really just wrapped that ride up and put a little ribbon on it and sent it straight to Adriano, and Adriano's going to get himself back in this heat. So Kai will be probably looking back on that as maybe it was potentially an opportunity to bag a 6-point ride himself and put this a little further out of reach for de Souza.
And he's just going to get out there and do his work, and we'll see what happens in the end.
Thank you, Strider. As we see Kai Otton eyeing off a left. He's waited a long time for this wave. This is his opportunity to put up a good backup score. Just a bit of dead water to move through here, but a nice little finish, kicking that tail. It'll certainly be better than the 1.67 he was hanging on to before, but it won't be matching the excellent ride that he had earlier on.
I don't think it will, but I'm enjoying the surfing right now from Kai Otton. I think the confidence he has, you know, with being aggressive, that was not easy. That little tail flick he threw down there to finish that wave, it was kind of aggressive, and I liked it. So I think he's pretty switched on. Again, this board's looking really fast. So a nice power move there, a bit of a layback hack. A bit of pause in the action there. The judges won't like that, but again, I think he made up for it just a little bit by, you know, flicking that tail out the back to finish it.
Kai finds himself in a pretty similar situation to Alex Ribeiro, and that is being way down the back end of the ratings. He hasn't punched through the 3rd round yet this season. When you think about those lefts and that wind, I think that's a real advantage that he can carry over Kelly. Obviously, Slater's going to be way more dangerous on those long right-handers, but if Ryan gets a couple of big ramps, he is definitely capable of mixing things up with his aerials and throwing us something that we haven't seen throughout the competition.
Definitely. It's game on for the airs for Ryan Callanan. And, well, there you go. A pretty decent little backup score for Kai, a 5-pointer. And let's recap this heat and see how Kai got there. He's got a pretty firm lead right now. It's all about this 8 right here. And again, I talked about it the first time round. Amazing rhythm, Ronnie. He went from the bottom to the top. Nothing too crazy, you know. No one big statement move, but solid. You know, it was clean. No real big hitches. You know, no mistakes. His rails stayed pretty clean. He didn't bog down. He kept that flow up. So, you know, that's just a smooth 8 right there. And that was right out of the gates. So, you know, that instantly took the pressure off him. Polar opposite heats here. Adriano de Souza, you know, it took a long time for him to finally take off, and then he fell twice. So just a 3.5, and then finally he got this backup score. I love that air reverse. So, you know, easily his best wave so far in this event. But just a 6, you know, and so the judges didn't like that wave really lost all its speed, all its height there. It got really small, and that kept the score low. So, you know, I think Kai just slightly vulnerable right now from Adriano de Souza because his backup score is pretty weak. You know, it's just a 5-pointer. So for Adriano de Souza needing a 7.01 in the last 4 minutes, it's kind of game on for him.
He's got that priority working against him, though, out there at the moment. Well, Kai is trying to chase Adriano down here. De Souza just sitting a little deeper, and he'll get enough speed up here to drive around this section. This wave's stretching out for a long time, so no major moves laid down just yet, and Adriano goes for the float and takes a fall. Just over 2 minutes to go now. Kai out there at the takeoff zone. He's having a look at this one, but will he ride it all the way through? Well, he is committed now. A couple of decent turns and potentially get stuck behind there.
Well, sorry, Ronnie, I know what you're picking up on, and I think that was a great observation. You know, he had the opportunity to kick out. He could produce a 7 on this wave if he goes. He really has to go off.
All right, let's see what he can do. De Souza drops to the bottom of this one. Drives around that first section. A smooth carve this way, flattening out a little bit, so he fades back in order to get in that pocket. Nice vertical hit. Chasing a 7.01 on this ride. A little unconvinced at this point, but he still has work to do as he heads down the line. The body language isn't fantastic. He's looking at the clock. Looks a little dejected.
Yeah, that's a shocker for Adriano de Souza. You know, all those mistakes really came back to haunt him. That wave way too fat.
Kai Otton picked this one off before the hooter sounded, so still a chance at pushing his total a little higher. But he's dodged a bullet here, Otts.
Yeah, you know, he really rode that heat based on that first ride, that 8-pointer, and you know, he surfed decent on it, but the wave was amazing. So I think Kai will come in and digest this heat, not as if he smoked Adriano. You know, he just kind of got the win there.
He'll definitely be inspired by the fact that he put up an excellent ride that been few and far between this season. But Kai is going to be moving on through to round 3, and yet another top seed falls out of the mix here in the second round.